If you feel like your improvisation is a bit stale, a bit flat, or a bit boring, then this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is one of the most underserved tools in improvisation, and it's actually quite easy to do. Before we get started, if you'd like to learn guitar from me, I run online guitar mentorship. Just hit the link in the description. You send in questions, clips you're playing, and I get back to you within 24 hours with a guaranteed response on what to do next, and I'll be there with you on your guitar journey every step of the way. Anyway, onto the video. If you're like most guitar players, you probably go to learn new licks, or perhaps focus on chord tones, or learn new solos to try to spice up your improv a little bit. Or you just sit there and hammer backing tracks for a long time. There's nothing wrong with this, and you will develop your improv. But what's really cool about what we're about to talk about is that it's going to multiply everything you do. Whatever licks you learn, whatever chord tones you learn, whatever triad shapes you practice, they're going to sound better with this in mind. So pay attention. All of these licks you learn and all the time you spend focusing on your chord tones and all that, it's going to sound a bit dry if you don't have dynamics. What do we mean by dynamics? We mean varying the attack of the right hand in particular. There are other ways in which we can talk about dynamics, but that's probably the most obvious way to start approaching them. I remember when I started at music school, we all sat down and sort of played a bit and introduced ourselves to one another, and everyone could kind of play their own thing a little bit. Everyone had their strengths and their weaknesses. Some people were quite technically capable, others less so. But there was one kid in particular who, though less technically capable, he was a really solid blues player, and everyone kind of envied him a little bit for that. A big part of what made him really good at his blues playing was his dynamics, and at that early stage in our playing, none of us really had much of that, but he did. And I think actually if you were to ask any of us to stand up and improvise for a minute or so, he would stand out as the one that sounded the most unique and the most listenable, to be honest. So let's get into the idea behind dynamics. What we're trying to do here is express different notes differently. If you just play the trusty pentatonic scale in order, it sounds fine, but it just doesn't really sound like much. What about if we add some dynamics? Suddenly we've got some rhythm now. Not only have we added a bit of feel, we've actually implied a rhythmic element to our playing. Now that pentatonic scale is not too exciting, so here's a short clip of Matheus Assato doing some improv. He has absolutely mastered dynamics, and you can really hear them in this clip. So apart from the very tasty licks as well, he's clearly got this idea of feel in his fingers, this kind of moving dynamic range where he's attacking the strings and then he's pulling back. If you were to play those same licks without dynamics, he'd probably still sound pretty good, but it wouldn't have that extra special something. The way to think about dynamics is however good you are right now, you can just take everything you know and multiply it by, I don't know, a decent bit when you add dynamics. So what we now need to think about is how can we start to practice these, because it's all well and good me just saying vary how hard you hit the strings, but that's easier said than done in some cases. So let's take that pentatonic scale, and this is a good one to practice because it's 2 notes per string. We're going to play it in a couple of different ways. We're going to start by emphasizing or picking harder on the first note of each string. So it's going to be essentially with the A minor pentatonic scale, it's going to be the 5th fret note on every string. Here I'm attacking those strings a little harder on the first pick. You can then do the same in reverse. So in that instance, it's actually the 2nd note on every string if you go backwards. Now let's do the opposite. Let's go down the scale, and we're going to play sort of the 7th and 8th fret right hand side of the scale notes with more emphasis. You notice while I practice this, I'm keeping quite a wide dynamic range. However wide you think your dynamics are, just widen them a bit, because you're probably not doing it as much as you think. So go really gentle on that first note, but then snap at the next one. You really want to explore the extremes of your dynamic range where you can. Like most things, however much you think you might be doing, you're probably not doing quite as much as that. If you feel like you've got the hang of this and you don't struggle too much, there's a couple of things you can do. One is you can start to combine these ideas, so you could kind of essentially start to get a bit more free with your dynamics. So take your pentatonic scale, play in order, but do something like what I did earlier. Randomize it a little bit. Or take something like a major scale, or a 3 note per string scale. And then, of course, the next sensible step is to try and do some improv with your dynamics in mind. Take licks that you already know and see how you can change them with varying dynamics. So take something like very simple blues lick. Let's try it with some different dynamics. You see, they all felt slightly different, and you may notice that the rhythmic feel of each lick was slightly different depending on where I placed the dynamics. Now, dynamics work best on sort of low to medium gain tones. When you start to introduce lots of overdrive and saturation and compression, it becomes harder to be dynamic in your playing. So one thing you can think about with dynamics on higher gain tones is palm muting. So you could play through your scale like that, sort of palm mute coming on and off, or you can think about hitting more than one string at a time, so like a double stop. That's going to introduce some texture where it otherwise might be quite hard to bring in dynamics. This isn't the kind of thing that you'll master overnight. It may take you time to get used to introducing dynamics into your playing, and like I said, really explore the extremes with your dynamics. Don't just try and sort of perfect it straight away. Go really, really gentle, and then really, really hard. Really whack the string and find that range, and then find where in that range you would like to sit. So there you have it, dynamics. This is a tool that people often neglect for years and years and years, and it's one of the simplest ways that you can make yourself sound more human, more interesting, more unique, and it doesn't require you to learn anything. You don't have to spend hours learning new licks or whatever. If you like the video, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe, and if you'd like to learn from me, check out the mentorship in the description. And if you feel like the dynamics are helping you, or you can see how they might, but you really want to expand your creativity, then this video here might be for you. Check it out. I'll catch you next time.